Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to build something really useful. Your own personal anxiety toolkit. It doesn't matter if it's for work, for school, for life in general. We're going to stock this thing with some practical, proven tools to help you manage that stress and just feel a bit more in control. So, let's dive in.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. Your heart's pounding before a big test, or maybe your thoughts are just spiraling out of control during a presentation. It's that moment where the clock seems to be ticking louder and your mind just goes completely blank. It's super common, but that definitely doesn't make it any easier to deal with.
So what is actually happening inside our bodies when we feel like that? To really get a handle on anxiety, we first have to understand it. Let's take a look under the hood and see what's going on.
Okay, so at its core, anxiety is basically your body's built-in alarm system. It's this feeling of tension, of apprehension, and honestly, a little bit of it can be a good thing. It can make you feel sharp and focused. But when that alarm starts blaring too loud, well, that's when it can really get in the way of you doing your best.
And this is that classic fight-or-flight response we always hear about, when your brain senses a threat. And that threat could be a grizzly bear or just a looming deadline. It hits the panic button and floods your body with adrenaline. And that's why you feel all those physical things. Your heart pounds to get blood flowing, you breathe faster for more oxygen, your body is literally preparing you to face down danger.
So here's the issue. Sometimes that internal alarm system gets a little oversensitive, It starts going off when there isn't any real danger in front of us. And that is exactly where our toolkit comes in. We need some good, reliable tools to help us turn down the volume on that alarm and get back in the driver's seat.
All right, let's start with the first set of tools in our kit. These are our mind tools. This is all about learning how to work with our thoughts, instead of just letting them run wild and take over.
Okay, check this out. This is a perfect example of a technique called cognitive restructuring. Look at the difference here. The anxious thought, I'm going to fail, is a total dead end. But the reframed thought, it's not pretending the test isn't hard. It's just shifting your perspective to something more realistic and, frankly, more helpful. It reminds you that you've prepared. And hey, even if you make a mistake, it's a chance to learn.
This is so important. A huge part of this is learning to just notice our feelings without freaking out about them. This quote nails it. The physical feelings of anxiety, the racing heart, the sweaty palms, they feel uncomfortable, for sure. But that discomfort doesn't mean you're in actual danger. Realizing that can take away so much of its power.
And here are a few more awesome tools for your mental kit. Just writing your worries down in a journal can feel like you're literally taking them out of your head and putting them on the page. Or you can try to just watch your thoughts float by like clouds without getting attached to them. Another great one is to challenge those worst-case scenario thoughts and ask yourself, okay, but what's the actual evidence that this is going to happen?
Okay, so we've got some tools for the mind. Now let's switch gears and talk about the body. These next tools are designed to calm down that physical stress response we were just talking about.
Deep breathing is probably one of the fastest ways to hit the brakes on that fight or flight response. Why? Well, because when you breathe slowly and deeply, you're actually flipping a switch in your nervous system, turning on the rest and relax mode. Things like box breathing or the 4-7-8 method. They're super simple, you can do them anywhere, and they work wonders.
Okay, this one is an absolute game changer. When your mind is spinning in circles, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique basically pulls you out of your head and plants you right back in the present moment. By forcing yourself to notice what you can see, touch, hear, and so on, you're interrupting that anxious loop and anchoring yourself to reality. It's like a hard reset for your brain.
You know how we hold stress in our bodies? Like you get a clenched jaw or your shoulders are up by your ears? Well, progressive muscle relaxation tackles that head on. You just go through your body, tensing up one muscle group for a few seconds, and then you let it go. It's amazing how it teaches you the difference between tension and relaxation and helps you release all that pent-up physical stress.
All right, so we've covered the mind and the body. The last category in our toolkit is all about action. These are the practical, real-world steps you can take to manage your environment and feel more in control of the things that are actually causing the stress.
This 5 A's framework is just brilliant, especially for work stress. It gives you a roadmap for dealing with a problem. First, can you avoid it? Maybe just say no to something. If not, can you alter the situation by talking to someone? If that's not possible, can you adapt your own perspective? Or maybe you just have to accept that some things are out of your control. And all the while, you have to attend to yourself. Get enough sleep and eat well.
And here are a few more really powerful action tools.
I mean, just breaking a giant, scary project down into tiny, manageable steps can make it feel so much less overwhelming. And seriously, don't forget the basics. Sleep, good food, and a little exercise are the bedrock of being resilient. Oh, and for social anxiety, there's this interesting idea of social mishap exposures. It sounds scary, but it's just about doing something tiny and a little embarrassing on purpose, like asking for directions when you know where you're going, just to prove to your brain that making a small mistake is not the end of the world.
So, we've packed our toolkit full of strategies for our mind, our body, and for taking action. Let's pull it all together now and talk about what to do next.
The whole point here is to have a bunch of options. Think of this as your anxiety first aid kit. When you start to feel that stress creeping in, you can look at this and ask yourself, okay, what do I need right now? A mind tool like reframing this thought, a body tool like some deep breathing, or an action tool like setting a boundary. And please remember this. None of this is a magic trick. These are skills. It's just like learning to play guitar or getting better at a sport. You might feel a little awkward at first, but the more you practice these things, especially when you're feeling calm, the easier and more automatic they'll become when you really need them. Now, it's really important to say that while these tools are amazing, they aren't always enough. If you find that your anxiety just isn't getting better, or if it's really getting in the way of you living your life, or if you're avoiding things because of it, that's a really clear sign that it's time to talk to a professional, like a therapist. Reaching out for help is absolutely a sign of strength.
Wow, we've covered a lot today. But knowing this stuff is one thing, using it is another. So my question for you is this: out of everything we've talked about, which one tool are you going to add to your kit first? Which one will you try? Thanks so much for joining me today.